The Muppets set me up for some poor expectations out of life. Welcome to the first episode of the Two Dudes Named Ryan podcast. I am Ryan number one. I go by Thorny, joined by my co-host, Ryan number two, who we shall call Foley. Foley, man, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing awesome. It's good to be on the episode number uno. It's going to be
First
good.
episode. We have test one down, scrapped it. Here we are. Second go around for the first episode. I'm excited.
Yeah, there's some gems in the first one. Maybe someday we'll leak it as like a B-side.
Yeah. Way in the future, a Patreon episode. You pay for that one. Paywall. All right. Well, on our first episode here, what we're going to do is, and this is going to be kind of an every episode type thing, and we're going to talk about what's on tap, what we are drinking. Ryan and I enjoy a beer from time to time. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we're drinking, and then we're going to move on to our recurring segment that's going to happen every episode. That's going to be called What's on Your Mind. This is basically a free dialogue, something that maybe have happened to you in the last week, as this is a weekly podcast, something you want to talk about. That will be the What's on Your Mind segment. And then the third segment is going to be a recurring segment or a rotating segment. We're going to be choosing from a list every week. Tonight, we're going to be talking about two things that we liked. So, Foley, why don't you start us off? What do you have on tap, my friend?
My first beer tonight is called Two Rivers Pale Ale. It's from Flathead Lake in Big Fork, Montana. I have no clue where this came from. It showed up in my fridge.
At what point did this show up in your fridge? This is a recent discovery?
Okay, I think I do know now that I'm actually thinking about this. We had my father-in-law's Memorial service. Sad. It was great service. Lots of family came, but I think they went to Winesmore and picked up a couple Sixers for, one of the days we had a barbecue. I had a barbecue on Saturday for the whole family. And I think this was shoved in my fridge. And so pretty good. Two Rivers Pale Ale. I'm a big Pale Ale guy, 5.6% alcohol. I don't know the hop profile. It's not giving me a lot to go on, but it's the first time I've had a beer from Flathead Lake Brewing Company. It's not bad. It's not my favorite pale ale, but it's pretty good.
Nice. Sounds good. Brian and I are both from Montana originally, so you hear a lot of Montana references throughout this podcast. So there's a random Montana beer showed up in Foley's fridge. I'm drinking a good old Washington beer, Mac and Jack's Black Cat Porter, American Porter, 4.8% alcohol. You know what? It's a good porter, man. I like Mac and Jack's as a brewery. It's not quite as good as their Amber Ale, their Cadillac of their beer line, but this was a very good porter. I am enjoying it.
First time?
No, I've had it before. Sorry, I took a big swig there, and then Ryan asked me a question right in the middle of my drink. But yes, I've had this before. It's always a good beer.
I'll have to pick up a 6-pack. I've never seen it over here in Spokane, but it's not to say I wasn't looking for it.
It's got like a little black leopard cat on there. Black cat. Like the cat from the Jungle Book. What's his name? Why can't I remember the cat from the Jungle Book's name?
It's not Baloo. Baloo's the bear.
He's the bear. It's not Mowgli. He's the kid. It's the cat. Whatever. It looks like that cat.
Right on, buddy. Cool.
All right, Foley. Well, let's get right into the meat of things. What is on your mind this week?
So one thing that's been on my mind, and it's not been like I didn't want it on my mind, is women's pants. Have you noticed women's pants lately, specifically like women's jeans?
I work from home, so absolutely no. Okay. I don't see anything.
So I can't say this is where I'm at, like when I'm like teaching, but recently I went on a date with my wife. It was her 40th birthday, and we were lime scootering in downtown Spokane, which was
what's awesome. Lime scooter?
It's a lime scooter. Oh, this was one of those pay for electric scooters. I had never done it.
Lime?
That's the company.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it'd be like if Nike made scooters, it'd be like Nike scooters. This is
I
just
thought they were.
like
Are they all just like lime colored? Are they really bright green? I was confused. Okay.
they
Not
do,
a Spokane man here.
So like they have like this little app you can see on the screen I'm showing you. Or maybe not. It's like super bright, but you have to like link your like credit card to it.
Everyone listening out there can also see the screen, I'm sure.
So got the Lime scooters. We're zipping through the park there, going to like this restaurant, and I started like noticing all these people's jeans, like what like the ladies wearing, because you're sitting there waiting for your food, waiting for your drinks, and I see these. What the girls are wearing right now, Ryan, I don't know if you noticed this. They're wearing these high-waisted jeans. Like, okay, like Livia called it like a mom jean. That's fine because I've seen that for a couple years. But now, Ryan, it's not like the tapered leg. Like, everybody was into the skinny jeans. Now it's like this thick leg, like almost like a stovepipe leg. And they come up to like just your ankles. So you have this high-waisted jean and it's like a big like baggy pant that is cut above the ankles, and most of them, not all of them, but most of them had holes in them, like in the knees. I'm like, what kind of evolution of jeans is this?
Are you talking like capri
No,
length
so
pants?
slightly longer than capris, but slightly shorter than normal length jeans. So it's the
high waisted thing.
And I'm like, so this is what women.
How do you know they're high waisted though? Are they wearing like belly shirts where you can see all the way up to the top of the jean?
Some of them are, yeah, exactly. That's exactly how. So I started looking for this. I was like, is this like a thing? So I was at Starbucks the other day, and then Starbucks is right across from like a middle school, and I was like, a whole bunch of middle school girls came in, and they're all wearing this type of jean. I was like, holy cow, like this is like a thing. And I was like, I didn't know, like maybe it was just like, mid-20s people and maybe 30s, but no, this is like, now this is spanning like decades, generations of women, at least here in Spokane. So I just find it really confusing because I thought the skinny jeans were still in, but now like this is almost
that was your
like
first mistake.
So this is like a marriage of, think about this, right? And remember Janko jeans when we were kids?
Sure do. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a marriage of them and skinny jeans and mom jeans all at the same time.
Man, my brain stopped working.
Put them in a blender.
Conjure that up. Yeah.
That's what you get. That's what
I guess I don't see that over here in my little tiny 14,000 person town.
Wow.
The only people I see is when I drop my daughter off at school, and you know how parents dropping their kids off at school, they're halftime, they're like basically in pajamas still. So
yeah,
it's like, I'm just rolling to get my kid out of here. I have a hat on. I wear a hat because I don't even bother to comb my hair. So it's very little effort put in on these types of situations. So going downtown on a date night, you probably see a whole different realm of people dressing for different reasons than dropping their kids off at 9:00 in the morning to elementary school.
Well, I don't know what these women are thinking. It's not a good look, in my opinion.
Says
the
almost 40-year-old man.
So there I was with my wife. We had this conversation. I was like, so what are jeans doing? Like, I was asking her, she's like, 90s are coming back in style. So there's a little bit of that feeling to these jeans. That's probably what's going on.
I probably still have some clothes from the 90s. If they're coming back in, bust those bad boys out. Basically, those long sleeve shirts that guys had that just had like one single stripe across the front, like Freddie Prinze Jr. would wear. I probably still have one of those somewhere around. Are those back?
They must be, man. 90s are back, dude. Rock that thing tomorrow.
The necklaces with like the little ivory type stuff on it. Yeah, there you go. Bring those back.
Those are like, what was it? You're gonna have to wait like probably like 10 or 5 more years because that was early 2000s.
Okay, I need to start selling it now because that's when it's going to create the buzz, create the market.
Yeah.
I don't have.
Guys are going to start doing frosted tips again.
Oh god. Oh gosh. Okay. All right. The thing I want to talk about, and this is a couple weeks old at this point, Coney dogs. I know that you are on the same page as me as that Coney dogs potentially the greatest hot dog of all time. I don't know. I know you like them. I don't know if you think they're the best, but they're probably my favorite version of the hot dog. So much the fact that living here in Washington, I've been on a kind of a search for a Coney dog because they're rare out here. No one knows what they are. And I've learned that even if it's on the menu, doesn't mean they know what the heck. How friendly are we going? Family friendly. What a Coney dog is exactly. I brought my 2 kids. I had them up by myself the other day, and we were driving around, and they weren't hungry, but I hadn't eaten since like breakfast, and it's like 2 p.m. at this point. So first thing I do is I try and find a place to get them like a little milkshake, because why not? I'm the dad who, like, when I have the kids by myself, we're getting ice cream, kids. Like, that's how it goes when I'm with them. But I was hungry, and I found this little hot dog stand that had been there for years, and I'd never tried. And I went to the drive-thru, and I saw a Coney dog on there. And it said like chili, cheddar, cheese. I'm like, all right, well, that's all the classic fixings of a Coney dog. Come to get it, and it is spicy chili with beans. So like your standard chili that you'd get at any restaurant in North America, besides Texas. They don't put beans in their chili. But it also had like what did it have? It didn't have any mustard. So that's the other thing. So it was just spicy chili, diced white onions, and cheddar cheese, which you're listening to this, you're like, that sounds like a chili dog. Because that's what it was. It was just a chili dog. It's all it was. It was a chili dog labeled as a Coney dog. And I'm pretty upset about it because I was finally excited. Like, oh man, I found a Coney dog in Washington. No, I found a chili dog masquerading as a Coney dog. I was more upset than I should have been about it. I gave them a 4-star review because I'm not a jerk. But I made sure to call out, don't put Coney dogs on your menu if you don't know what Coney dog is, people. So, Foley, why don't you tell people?
So define for us.
Why don't you? I'm gonna let you. Why don't you tell the people what a Coney dog should be? You don't know? Cincinnati.
Well, so
I like Cincinnati
question,
Coneys personally. So
okay.
you got your hot dog. There's a strip of mustard. You got your Coney sauce, which is like a sweeter sauce with like all seasoning, all spice seasoning. The mustard counteracts the sweetness of the no bean chili. And it's more of a sauce. In fact, they call it Coney sauce some places. There's no beans in it. It's just meat. It's like a meat stew kind of thing. And then it's piled.
It's like a slurry.
Yeah. It's mostly just meat with a little bit of liquid in it to kind of make it spread on your hot dog. And then you pile high, finely shredded cheddar cheese on top of that. Like more than you would think you'd ever want on a hot dog. Like you look at that, that's an absurd amount of cheese, but it's perfect. It all balances out. That's what a Coney dog is. It's not spicy bean chili, and it's not a chili dog. It's a very specific kind of chili dog, I guess you could say. But if you go to a restaurant and if you're a restaurant and you're serving somebody a Coney dog, when someone comes in there and knows what a Coney dog is, they're gonna be mad at you, like I was. So that's my rant on the Coney dog. My search continues for a Coney dog in Washington State.
Pretty passionate about this. Jeez. So
yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why I got so riled up about it, but
I enjoy it, man. I really do. I did not know that the Coney had to have a strip of mustard. I am anti-mustard. I'm anti-mayo, and so anytime like I
know it was in there, they sneak it on you.
Exactly. And the listener, man, if you do not know the type of cheese that is on a Coney dog, it is the finest. It is the angel hair of cheese, and it's just piled high. You shouldn't even see the bun.
It's like 2 inches of cheese. It's stupid. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
Like I said, the first time you see it, you're gonna probably be like, "That looks disgusting," but it just works, man. Trust me.
Brought me back to my childhood when I used to live in Dayton, Ohio. We would go to Skyline Chili, and again, I did not get the mustard on the dog, but the Coney dogs, the way Skyline does it, their little dogs are probably maybe only like 4 or 5 inches long, and they are like half a normal like dog.
They're skinny,
in girth, right? Yeah, they're skinny and they're tiny, and the buns are skinny and tiny too. And so when you order them by, you order 3 of them, and that's just
like street tacos.
Yeah, that's just like a normal serving. So yeah, I grew up on those.
Street taco.
So good.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is like this one had a big fat Frank on it, which is fine, but not for Coney. Like Coney should be a small, skinny hot dog because it's not the star. The hot dog is just like there to be a vessel for all the Coney sauce and cheese. It's just there to make sure to spoon feed you all the other stuff. So,
man, that sounds super disappointing. Like when you're ready for a Coney and you get a straight up chili dog, man, that would rub me wrong too.
Whole different experience. Okay. All right. Well, that does it for our What's on Your Mind segment. Let's move into the 2 things that you liked. So I was thinking we'll bounce it one at a time. You can go first, and I'll do mine, and then you do your second one, and then I'll do my second one. So
Okay.
why don't you take it away?
The first thing I like, Thorny, is hecklers.
A good heckler. Little league just scored story here.
Well, so I've been in the baseball mood, and one of my favorite things to do is go to live baseball games, live sporting events in general. I mean, you and I have that in common. And one of the things I was thinking about lately is like the value of a good heckler. And like, so to me, and I want to have this conversation with you, right? A good heckler is someone who has he's just witty and clever. And so if you're not witty and clever on the spot, you should not heckle.
I used to be before I had kids. My brain turned into mush.
Two, I think a good heckler needs to have a little bit of knowledge of the person. They have to do a little bit of research. And if you're witty and you have a little bit of research and you're clever, then I think you could be a good heckler. And another thing is, I don't think you should go into personal business that touches like, it's like, like kids have to cover ears. Like the parents shouldn't hear a heckler and go, okay, earmuffs to their kids. Don't be that type of heckler. But I love a good heckler. I used to go to these baseball games in Great Falls, Montana, the Voyager games, and two of the guys I would go with, and I'm not going to name their names, but they were awesome hecklers. And I don't know what I enjoyed more, watching the baseball game or listening to them razz on the opposing batters as they were stepping in onto the on-deck circle. But if you get around a good heckler, it just enhances the game so much for me. So much. It's like great trash talking, but in a way that you don't feel like just like a scumbag doing it, right? And the best part is when they react to you, like when the athlete looks at you like, come on, man. Or they give you like a thumbs up because like, you got me on that one. Yeah.
Good one. Yep. No, man, that's absolutely true. Like I love a good heckler, but it's an art. It really is an art. You can't do it too much. You got to have good timing. And like you said, it's got to be enough knowledge to make a little zinger without being like personal, without being like a jerk about it. So it's an art. You dance a fine line, but a good one is worth their weight in game day peanuts.
Oh, and if you run into a bad heckler, it's just cringeworthy. You're just like, oh man, don't say that.
That's when you start heckling the heckler to get him to stop talking.
Yeah. So,
and that's where you make sure you have your bag of rotten tomatoes that you can throw. Always bring a bag of rotten tomatoes anywhere you want to potentially throw them at somebody. Like Fozzie.
Is that really
waka waka waka? I don't know. I'm basing half my experiences on the Muppets. The Muppets set me up for some poor expectations out of life. Tell you that much. The Muppets had some great hecklers. The two old guys in the balcony. Those guys are like all-time greats.
Yes.
Be those guys.
Absolutely. What were the names? Do you remember them?
Oh man, they were like some old names like Winston and I don't know, Norton or something like that. Like oh man, like Norval or something.
Yeah. They were bad. No, they were all bad.
They were all bad. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Love those guys. Classic.
Yeah, man.
They set the bar pretty high for heckling. They're a heckling tandem. All right. The number one thing that I have on my two good things is, man, I've been watching the basketball playoffs because number one, the Suns are in it. My team for the first time in like 11 years. How fun it is to watch the playoffs with fans in the stands. They're only at like half capacity, but compared to the bubble last year where they had the people on the screen versus people going wild and just like you could tell it's been pent up fandom where they're just like stoked, especially in Phoenix when it's like number one, you haven't been able to go to a game since like however long, and then number two, you haven't had a playoff game in 11 years. So but even the other games I've watched, like it's enhanced so much by the passionate fans screaming, as opposed to them piping in fake fan noise that's not even timed correctly. It just enhances the viewing experience so much for me as a fan watching on TV. That's my number one good thing because that just brought me so much joy watching playoffs with real people being passionate about sports again.
It feels good to see all sports getting back to that, having fans in the stands. It's just something different, right?
Yeah. We're not going to try and be too sports oriented on this podcast because we do a sports podcast on the other side, but I had to say that because it's my number one thing from this week.
Are the Suns any good?
They have the second best record in the West, but they're running into the now healthy Lakers squad, so they're probably going to lose to the Lakers in round one. That'd be my guess. It's 1-1. Series is 1-1 right as of recording this. Like I said, this will be released probably in 3 weeks, and the series will be over. And then was like, "Oh, that guy, your team lost." But I'm optimistic at the moment.
Okay, Thorny. Before we hang up on the Suns, all-time favorite Suns player, go.
Steve Nash, easy. Love that guy.
Dan Marley.
If that was the answer before Steve Nash, but then Steve Nash and that whole team, like I can name like 3 other guys from that team that, I mean, you had like Amari Stoudemire, who was a lot of fun to watch. Those Suns teams were so much fun to watch. Steve Nash was there, but yeah, Dan Marley's. I actually went to Dan Marley's restaurant in Phoenix when I was there in 2011. He's got a restaurant called Thunder Dan's because that's his nickname. I have a shot glass still that says Thunder Dan on it. So there's my Sun story. Thunder Dan.
Such a good name.
Dan Marley.
Such a good name.
That's an awesome nickname. We need to do like a top 3 athlete nickname segment at some point because there's some great ones out there.
That's a good point. We'll write it down. All right, Thorny, I'm going to move into my second thing I like. That is a McDonald's Coke.
Why is McDonald's? Why is their Coke better?
Well, I'm glad you asked because I gave a dramatic pause because I think it's that important. And McDonald's Coke
had
is
some
just
sound effect to put in there. It's some dramatic sound. I don't.
So it just hits different, man. So here's some advice. I'm not going to linger on this too long. If you like pop, which Ryan, I'm not a huge pop drinker. So in fact, we don't have a lot of soda in the house, soda pop, whatever you want to call it. Wife rarely buys it. If she does, we get those like little, like 6 ounce or 8 ounce
mini cans.
Yeah, the mini cans, right?
Like that time I accidentally bought the mini Michelob Ultras and I was very sad. I didn't know, like, what's the point of an 8 ounce Ultra? What is the point? What am I doing with my life?
Oh, I remember those. Those are so funny. Anyways, I mean, it's not Coke out of the can, although Coca-Cola probably has to be my favorite soda if I did have to classify like a soda. A McDonald's Coke, man, it's almost like a cure-all. If you're having a crummy day, go get yourself a McDonald's Coke. If you're feeling a little bit off, go get yourself a McDonald's Coke. I don't know if it's the carbonation ratio to water to syrup to ice. However they do it, man, it just tastes different and it's so satisfying. And it just makes you feel better. You feel a little queasy, go get yourself a McDonald's Coke. Have a little headache, go get yourself a McDonald's Coke. I don't do it often because obviously it's not good for you. But man, I'll tell you what, I always feel happier after drinking a McDonald's Coke.
If you ever see those like headache pills that they sell, which are different than like Tylenol, they're designed specifically for headaches, they have sugar in them. So I think sugar is a big thing that helps your headache. So that would make sense why a Coke would help your headache. I'm going to rank my Cokes real fast here. Number 1, bottled Coke. That is the all-time best way to drink Coke. There's not even a debate about this. The polar bear, he loves those. I love polar bears and Cokes. Number 2, and this goes for all soda, fountain soda in the styrofoam cup with crushed ice. I don't know what it is. It hits different. I don't know why the styrofoam tastes better, and it's terrible for the environment. I'm glad that there's hardly any styrofoam cups in existence anymore, but for some reason, man, things just taste better in there. Probably all that added little chemical flavoring from the styrofoam, or it just keeps it colder. That much better. Probably really what it is. And then number 3, fountain Coke from anywhere. I don't know why McDonald's is suddenly better. Probably because it's $1. Is it $1 where you are?
I think so.
Mine specifically says we do not participate in the nationwide dollar. I was very upset the first time I went there to get a Coke, and it was like $2. I was like, what is happening? Why is this not $1? My new city I moved to. It's like, all right, this is how it's going to be, small town. You're going to charge me more for my McDonald's Coke? I'm on to you.
I love a McDonald's Coke. I don't get it often, but man, I was just thinking about it. It's a little bit of a cure-all for any malady you have. Having a bad day, feeling a little tummy upset, feeling a little headachy, feeling tired. go get yourself a McDonald's Coke. It's going to help you out.
Life advice from two dudes named Ryan. All right. The second thing I have on my two good things is, man, I'm just excited for hiking season. It's something that the family and I picked up last year. The weather's getting good. I'm just excited to get back out there hiking on trails. I had a hard time thinking of a second good thing, to be honest with you, but this is what I came up with. I'm excited to get out there. It's kind of a thing that we started doing as a family. And yeah, I'm just excited to get out hiking while the weather's getting good. The rain's not too bad out here. We're in a new area that's next to some pretty big mountain ranges. I'm hoping there's some good hiking. I mean, I know there's got to be good hiking around there. So yeah, I'm just excited, man. I'm excited to go hiking with the family. I'm excited for that's like my thing for the summer is not necessarily all the beaches and all that stuff, man. I just like to go hiking in the woods because you and I are Montana people. I'm a woods person. I'm a mountain man. Like that's just what we grew up with. I live on the coast now. I don't really care all that much about the ocean. I still prefer the forest. You know, it's just my childhood. That's who I am. So excited to get back out there with the kids and share those experiences with them too.
I'm not a hiker. And here's the reason why. I'm a trail
runner. Yeah,
exactly. So when my wife says, "Hey, let's go for a hike," it just bugs me that I'm not running the trail. I just
can't you run in place? Cartoon character.
You know, I still got the two little boys though. So I got a 4 and 7-year-old. I know you have something similar. We just got past the phase of like hauling them on our back up the mountain and around on the trails. And so the pack is now gone and now they're just like taking off in front of us. So yeah, that feels good because then I can run after them. I get at least a little trail running in there, but just to go on a hike, man, I honestly, Ryan, this comes across like maybe like kind of like runner elitist, but I spend about as much energy running on the trail than I do is walking on the trail. So
it's not for exercise, man. It's not for, I mean, that's a benefit of it, but you're going you make it a destination. You're like, all right, we're going to go hike to a waterfall and then like have a lunch at the waterfall. You're not doing it because like, I'm going to burn 800 calories on this hike. No, that's the wrong mindset.
No, I've never once thought that when I was on a trail run about burning calories. Actually,
fine. If you need an extra boost, wear one of those weighted vests while you go on your hike. Then add like 30 pounds to and then wear one of those oxygen restricting masks because if you need a challenge there.
Dude, you're like that Lance guy Armstrong. Though. You're that guy when like you pass somebody on the trail, be like, oh my gosh, that guy has a weighted vest. No.
Well, then be that guy.
No, don't be that guy. My wife knows now. She's like, okay, Ryan, I'm planning a hike, or she'll call like, hey, you want to go on a walk? Oh, I can't stand walks. They're so boring. So I'm like, if she would just tell me, hey, Ryan, you want to go on a run? I'd be like, okay, let's do this. But no, that's not my wife. So
I can't
love my wife.
With this,
but she's a walker. She's a hiker,
like most normal people.
Yeah,
who don't just run 10 miles a day for fun. All right. Well, you know what? We're pushing up against 30 minutes. That's kind of the target for the show. I think that was a fun show. I hope everyone listening who tuned in here just found us randomly, enjoyed the show too. You can find us on Twitter at 2dudes. Well, man, I just set it up today. It is 2dudes Ryan because they wouldn't let me fit in 2 dudes named Ryan. So 2dudes Ryan on Twitter. That's kind of be our home base there. So until next time, we're 2 dudes named Ryan.